Hello again in day number 113. My name is Mary, and today's story is The Ark Is Moved. Now the land was free. David thought it was time to bring the Holy Ark out of its hiding place, where it had remained all through the rule of Samuel and the reign of Saul. He prepared a new tabernacle on Mount Zion, chose men from all the tribes, and went to bring the ark to Mount Zion. They did not have the ark carried by the priests, as had been done in earlier days. Instead, they stood in on a wagon drawn by oxen, followed by David and the men of Israel, who made music on all kinds of musical instruments. At one place, the Lord was rough. The oxen stumbled, and the ark almost fell off the wagon. Uzzah, one of the men driving the oxen, took hold of the ark to steady it. God's law forbid anyone but a priest to touch the ark, and God was displeased with Uzzah for his carelessness. Uzzah fell dead by the ark of the Lord. This death alarmed David and all the people. David was afraid to have the ark in his city. He stopped the procession and placed the ark in the house of a man named Obed-edom, where it stayed for 3 months. They were afraid that it might bring harm to Obed-edom and his family, but instead it brought a blessing on them all. When David heard of the blessing that God come to Obed-edom from the ark, he resolved to bring it into his own city on Mount Zion. This time the priest carried it, as the law commanded, and sacrifices were offered on the altar. They brought the ark up to its new home on Mount Zion, where a tabernacle was ready to receive it. Then the priest began to offer the daily sacrifices, and the service of worship were held, after having been neglected for many years. I'm going to share with you a picture. It says David danced before the ark. And here it is, David dancing before the ark. Here it is. Okay. David was now living in his place on Mount Zion, and he wanted to build a temple to take the place of the tabernacle. He said to Nathan, who was a prophet, "I live in a house of cedar, but the ark of God stands in a tent. Do all that is in your heart," answered Nathan, "for the Lord is with you." And that night, the voice of the Lord came to Nathan, saying, "Go and tell my servant David that I said, since the children of Israel came out of Egypt, my ark has been in a tent. I have never said to the people, build me a house of cedar. Say to my servant David, I took you from the sheep pasture where you were following the sheep, and I have made you a prince over Israel. And I have given you a great name and great power. And now, because you have done my will, I will give you a house. Your son shall sit on the throne after you, and he shall build me a house and a temple. And I will give you and your children and your descendants a throne and a kingdom that shall last forever. This promise of God that from David's line would come an everlasting kingdom was fulfilled in Jesus Christ, who came from the family of David and reigns as King of heaven and earth. And now I will share with you the questions. That was the word of the Lord. The first question: what happened to the man who touched the ark? What happened to the man who touched the ark? Number 2, why was David afraid to bring the ark into his city? Why was David afraid to bring the ark into his city? Second part of number 2, how did he decide to take care of this? Second part of 2, how did he decide to take care of this? Number 3, what did David want to do for God? What did David want to do for God? Number 4, what did God promise David? What did God promise David? And the last part is the second part of question number 4. Who fulfilled that promise? Who fulfilled that promise? Thank you for attending. May God bless us all, and we'll meet soon again. Bye for now.